Well, the Denver Broncos have hired Nathaniel Hackett as their head coach, and I am over the moon for this move. The first head coaching hire in this head coaching cycle, which now included 9 teams looking for a head coach after Sean Payton stepped down from the New Orleans Saints. The Denver Broncos go with Hackett, and my dream scenario for the Denver Broncos was Hackett at head coach and then Aaron Rodgers at quarterback. Now, we'll wait and see what happens with Aaron Rodgers, but to be sure, this gives the Broncos a better chance of landing Aaron Rodgers via trade like they tried to last year until Green Bay got cold feet. Does it actually happen for them this year? Well, this Hackett move signifies that more changes are coming for the Denver Broncos. The Broncos general manager, George Payton, had interviewed 10 candidates for the head coaching position, including his longtime buddy, Dan Quinn, who had a previous relationship with in terms of working with the Miami Dolphins. And even when Quinn went to the Falcons, he wanted George Payton to come over then with the Vikings as his general manager. And of course, the phone's blown up because, well, that's what happens when the Broncos hire a coach, and I cover the Broncos. But either way, you saw that Quinn wanted George Payton to be there with him as his general manager with Atlanta. It didn't happen. So these two had like this longing to work together again. And I had felt at the beginning of this coaching search, is it Dan Quinn and everybody else? Is it Dan Quinn and just 9 other guys they're interviewing because whatever, they have to? Who's going to wow him? Kevin O'Connell wowed them. Of course, the Rams quarterback coach and former quarterback himself. And then Nathaniel Hackett did as well. He was their second interview. And as it turns out, their only second interview. Hackett brings with him, first off, that name because his father is legendary coach Paul Hackett, who helped develop the West Coast offense to perfection with the Kansas City Chiefs under Marty Schottenheimer back in the day. So he grew up as a ball boy with the Chiefs. He worked as a long snapper. Like, he's just been around football his entire life. Nathaniel Hackett brings that knowledge of the game, of the West Coast offense, will bring an energy to this team. We know offensively, with or without Rodgers. Now, I think likely with Rodgers. We'll wait and see on that. But the Denver Broncos are going to make some strong moves. But we also look at offensively what Hackett did as his time as offense coordinator with the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars went to the AFC Championship game with Blake Bortles. Guy should have been hired just based off that. You went to an AFC Championship game. You were one pass away, and it wasn't really that bad of a pass from Bortles. It was a great defensive play by a New England defender. But they were one pass away from going to the Super Bowl with Blake Bortles. That happened. Okay. So Nathaniel Hackett was their OC. Now, how did he do it? He did it with the ground game with Leonard Fournette. And for what we care about with fantasy football, this is big news for Javonte Williams. Melvin Gordon, a free agent. I don't think they need to bring Gordon back. You've already got Mike Boone. You can draft any number of running backs at any position in the draft, probably late, and still get a great pick. But if you build this Broncos team with or without Rodgers, like you build that Jaguars offense that led the league in rushing and got to the AFC Championship game, well, then that means great news for Javonte Williams. I think he can be the featured back. I know he wasn't in college. That's fine. A lot of college running backs are committee backs. You get to the pros and, well, then good. You got low miles, take off as that lead running back. I think Javonte Williams could be that for the Broncos with Hackett as the head coach and the primary play caller. We'll see who he hires as an OC. That's up in the air right now, any number of coaches that it could be. But with Hackett, I think this is great news for the Broncos offense. It's great news for the Broncos fans. It just gives you hope, a new direction, a new coach that can make things happen better than Vic Fangio did. Vic Fangio didn't have personality other than being grumpy. Now you get a coach, Nathaniel Hackett, that is a little quirky. I think that's a nice way of saying he's kind of weird, but fine. Okay. He's a guy that puts Star Wars references into his play calls. You may see Aaron Rodgers go to the line, start screaming about Yoda or Grogu or whatever, Ahsoka on 3, ready, break. Yeah, okay, fine. He has gold zone meetings that are legendary among the player community in terms of just connecting with these guys, having fun, because it's not the red zone with Nathaniel Hackett. It is the greatest game in NFL history with the Chiefs and the Bills. We saw that in the divisional round. There's no way in hell the Broncos could compete with that and those offenses and those quarterbacks. unless you make a move like this. Now, it's the first move. They're not done. This is the first move with Nathaniel Hackett as their head coach, but I think it's a strong move for the team. I think it's a right move for the team in the right direction. You're going with a coach that understands the modern game, understands the modern player, can communicate, is a great teacher from the people that I know that have worked with him in Jacksonville specifically, but also in Green Bay. Sterling reputation, incredible knowledge of this game. He grew up. He's a Hackett, okay? He grew up in football. So this is great news for the Denver Broncos. Now, how do they get Aaron Rodgers? Would they have to trade away Jerry Jeudy? Would they have to trade away a Cortland Sutton? Also, the talk yesterday, and it was broken, and the talk had been there before. I'd been talking about it since December, really, even on the Audible. But it was Jordan Schultz who had put it out there like, hey, Davante Adams wants to come to Denver with Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, this was all supposed to happen last year, and Green Bay got cold feet, at least with the Rodgers part. Now, could Davante Adams be on his way to Denver as well? Sure. And for people saying, well, they'll just franchise tag impending free agent Davante Adams. You have to have the money to be able to do that. And right now, the Packers are what, 40 million over the cap? You have to have the money immediately when you place the franchise tag player on somebody. So don't know if that's going to happen. Don't know if Davante Adams will be here. Feel pretty strongly that Aaron Rodgers will. But either way, we know Nathaniel Hackett hired as the 18th head coach of the Denver Broncos. And to that, I say good. The offense will finally get the work that it needs. And from a fantasy perspective, I think this is great news for Javonte Williams. It's great news for any of the pass catchers, Noah Fant, any of the pass catchers who stay here. And yeah, with or without Rodgers, this is a shot in the arm, to be sure, for this Broncos offense. So everyone, want to say thanks for watching. Of course, we'll be talking about the rest of the coaching changes here on our YouTube channel and, of course, on the Audible as well. I'm Cecil Lammey saying, let's go Broncos. Stay tuned and stay frosty.